How do you go from nothing to success? In this video, I'm going to describe everything, my whole history, and how I got into the position that I am today. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. I've been doing this a long time, and I've never really given out my story. And so that's what I intend to do today. I'll give you everything and be vulnerable to really highlight that no matter what position you are in, you can actually improve. You could make your situation better. I'm going to share that right now. So the story begins in the late 1950s. My grandfather came from Italy on a boat, literally on a boat, to the east coast of Canada. He had basically nothing, all right? Now, he got a job. I believe the story is that there was already a relative present inside of Canada working. He said, come on over and you can work, okay? I'll get you a job over here. Now, eventually, the whole family did come over with, everything when that was all established. When the work was established, everything was kind of, okay, we can do this. Then the whole family came over. My grandparents basically worked labor jobs, factory work, their whole lives, all right? Never really making it out of lower middle class. My parents, they worked up to maybe middle class level, but they lived frugally. We lived frugally, and we kind of, made do wherever we could, cut corners wherever we could, just because their jobs weren't, high-paying jobs at all. They were okay. They did okay for what they had, but they were not highly educated, and so they did what they could. Okay. Now, we were never poor, but I was never given anything extra. I had food, I had shelter, school was paid for, but if I wanted something else, I had to work for it. I would ask for toys, I would ask for things growing up, and I would always get the same answer. Wait for your birthday, wait for Christmas. And that was the way it went. I didn't have a choice. There wasn't like, oh, here's some allowance. I wasn't getting it, okay? I just wasn't getting it. So that's just the way it went. So I would always dream. I would always hope and pray that the next day would come so that I could get my birthday money and I could buy a toy or what have you. So that's kind of the mentality that I always had, this scarcity mentality, because I wasn't given anything. Now, over the years, as a young kid, I did some random side hustles, as most kids do, cutting the grass, doing a little bit of cleaning here and there, and made a few bucks, okay? Now, I got my first real part-time job at 16 years old. I was working in fast food, and I also worked a handful of other retail jobs over the years, just to kind of bring in a little bit of extra spending money. But let's be honest here. I'm being honest with you right now. I was a drifter. I had no direction. I didn't have a mentor. I had no guidance. That was until November of 2005. So literally, my mother would call me head in the clouds, okay? Because I probably walked around literally with my head up in the sky. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have that direction, and I just didn't have somebody sharing information with me, teaching me. It was just, I was a drifter. In 2005, I woke up, I looked myself in the bathroom mirror. I literally went to the bathroom mirror, looked at myself, and I was completely unsatisfied. And I said, I want to be muscular. I want to be stronger. Because I would watch these shows and these movies and see all these guys, they're jacked, they're ripped. I said, I can do that too. I immediately started to exercise from that point, just out of a level of dissatisfaction with my appearance, purely from a vanity perspective. The health comes later. I started learning about the anatomy to develop my own exercises and learn proper form. Okay, I actually went to that level. I didn't want to just, lift a bunch of weights ignorantly. I actually wanted to know each and every single muscle group, and so I just kept digging in. I got a few lessons from a good personal trainer who analyzed me and gave me my strategy basically based on my weak points. In 1 year and 3 months, so for anybody who exercises and ever bulked up, check this out. In 1 year and 3 months, I put on 50 pounds all naturally. It was pure, utter dedication. I never had a meal or workout skipped. Never. I walked to the gym in snowstorms, in rain, anything. I had to get there under any circumstances. I also ate 7 meals per day. Now imagine this. It's literally snowing. Nobody's outside. And there I am with my huge bag, carrying this thing, walking pretty much 30 minutes. It was a 30-minute walk to the gym. That means 30 minutes back from the gym. And that's what I did. And I did that for years and years and years when I was living under those circumstances. And that's just the way it went. And it wasn't a matter of, maybe I won't go today or what have you. It was, man, that sucks. It sucks that it's snowing and I'm going to go anyway. And that's just the way it was. I have not eaten junk food, garbage, candy, all this stuff since 2005. Since then, I committed. Since that very day, I committed. I'm not going to do that anymore. I don't want it. And now I don't desire it. At that point, of course, it was kind of motivation keeping me going. Now I don't want it. Then I started reading. So this is the early point here still. I'm reading about the anatomy. I'm reading all these different books about health and everything. Then I started reading and learning about money. So I had read all of my economics texts and also the classics like Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all the famous ones. I just kept reading. During any commute, so I'm commuting to the gym, I'm commuting to the different places I have to go, and I have my headphones in. And this was on the old iPod, if you remember this, old school iPod. I had that. And I'd be waiting somewhere, waiting for the bus, whatever it was. I would be listening to audiobooks and seminars, literally on every topic, every single topic I could find. And I still do that today. Still to this day, I'm still trying to always look at what's the next seminar or audiobook that I can put to get that. Why was that? I didn't realize it at the time. I just heard, okay, you should be just listening to a lot of audiobooks. Okay, I took that into account, but why? And I look back at myself today, it's because I didn't have that mentor. I didn't have somebody to basically say, okay, here's what you got to do. You got to do step 1, you got to do step 2, you got to do step 3. I just didn't have that. And the internet wasn't what it was, like especially like 2005, 2007 timeframe. Internet was there, but information was sparse compared to today. Previously, I worked for a financial company for many years. I also had a side hustle and an online business. At this time, my long-term goal was to keep saving money and invest everything in real estate. That was my mentality back then at this time. I have built multiple successful online businesses because I spend time working on them every single day, 7 days a week. They're a business, but also a hobby. So that's the only way you could do something 7 days a week. You've got to make something that you are willing to do 7 days a week. Some things you just can't. There are a lot of people that work very tough manual jobs, for instance. And yeah, you can work that job, you can work the overtime, but can you do that forever? Like how long can you do that? Your body wears down. So you've got to choose wisely. It was difficult for me with nobody around to support my goals or help guide me. I didn't know any successful people at all. Not at all. Books were my only support, I knew, because I could find people who had already been through everything that I wanted to learn. There really weren't these fake gurus that we have online today that people idolize and they worship. That really didn't exist, okay? So I was listening to everything from, Tony Robbins and Brian Tracy, like all of that, because it was just giving me more confidence as a person. So I'm going from a drifter to now a person who's 50 pounds heavier in muscle. I feel confident. Relationships are working out, let's just say that. And, I'm learning. I'm going for the first time in my life, I'm reading books. I didn't read books before. I would cheat on all school stuff. Let me be honest with you. Anything related to school, not necessarily cheat, but I would do anything to kind of, get away with it if I could. I didn't want school. I did not like school. It just didn't, I ended up in the end a B student, but I just did not have a desire for that. Really. I was destined to be in the rat race. You have to understand this. I was like 100% going to be in the rat race, never even thinking. I never had that thought that I could do better than average. That didn't occur to me. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was possible for me. Nobody told me and didn't have anyone to look at and question it. I just assumed, okay, that's what it's going to be, and I'm going to try, but hopefully I can retire a bit early and so on. Like, I didn't even think of that possibility. Now when I look back, it's kind of silly to me that why didn't I just seek out somebody who could help me? Why didn't I try to read more books at an earlier age? Like, why didn't I do that? I just didn't. I don't have a good excuse about that. But it was my exercise, then reading, which truly changed my life. Today, I don't do drugs, I don't drink, nor do I want to. I dedicate my life to the highest order, and I hope that I'll stay strong. I'm not perfect by any means, but I try my absolute best to be a good person. That's everything. That's replying to comments, replying to emails, holding the door open for people. If somebody drops something, excuse me, here you go. You just see things that today we don't often find. Just simple things. If there is one thing that I was taught, it was to be nice. I hope you appreciate my work here and know that in a financial sense, this is a very bad business decision for me to make these videos that I do at the Money GPS. But I feel that looking back, I will know that I've done a good thing. Prioritizing the truth instead of pandering to a particular target market that I see every day from others in the financial niche. I wish you all well and thank you for your time. So I want to say that what I am planning for 2023, if I can, is a mentorship program. And that would be what I wish that I had. I will only be taking a few people. It's not going to be something that I could expand and run advertisements for and that sort of thing. But it's essentially to help the people that, are in the same position I was. That I could just say, no, don't do that. Do this, step 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you get those people basically off the ground and running. Okay, that's just the way I look at it. And that won't be something I advertise, and that won't be something that I'll be pushing out there. It's not a scalable type of business, but that's what I have planned, and I hope that will be something that I could have a good feeling about. So if anybody wants to reach me ever, you can do so. David@themoneygps.com. I want to thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.